Hello, folks. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, when or wherever you may be. As you can see by the title of the video, today we are going to talk about the false narrative of anyone that does not support the state of Israel and its actions means you are an anti-Semite. I have been telling you that I would make a video about this and that I would clearly state the reasons why I think this opinion is an ignorant one, to put it mildly. I will not swear in this video, don't worry, because I want to be crystal clear about a certain number of ideas. So let's start by the first concept. Number one, Judaism is a religion, meaning it's a set of religious beliefs that also creates a series of cultural traits of a group of people that follow a common religion and a common way to see their place in the world, and also to see themselves as the representatives of some kind of a religion and moral and ethical background. This means that even with the whatever rules they have in regards to that, and they do have them, I will ask you to investigate for yourselves so that you can learn a bit more about Judaism, especially if you claim to hate it, if you claim to not like Judaism or to portray it as some kind of uh, dominance religion driven, used by secret corporations to dominate the world, or whatever you think about that. I would ask you to investigate what truly Judaism is. Just like I would tell you the same thing if we are talking about Christianity, if we are talking about Islam, if we are talking about Zen Buddhism, whatever, whatever religion you want to investigate, learn first what it means and then talk later, like I did. So now I'm talking according to my own knowledge of it, and let me be clear about this. I also spoke with people of the of the Judaic sorry religion. Folks, you got to give me a bit of a leverage here, okay? A pass, because English is naturally not my natural born language, okay? And having two of them makes it even more complicated. Now, let me just have a sip of water, please, so that you know I'm not AI. Now, this being said, this means this religion has, of course, a series of mythos that most of us know because Judaism is also part of the Christian faith itself. And I would say this likely because in truth, the entire history of the Old Testament sounds a bit confusing for a Christian, because the message of Christ is clear, it's non-binding, okay, it's a very clear message, but it speaks about the Jewish faith. Hence, there are things that connect us all, just like Islam is connected to Christianity and also to Judaism, okay? We are one of Christianity and Judaism and Islam are what we would call the Abrahamic religions, based on the of the patriarch Abraham, which was a Jewish person, of course. Now, even in the Bible, we see and hear tales of people converting to Judaism. So you will never have some kind of integrity in terms of what the people is. We start with some tribes from the area of the Arabian Peninsula that were walking around in the desert, and apparently one of their so how am I going to say this? One of their leaders was contacted or had some kind of religious experience. And he created a religion in which you would have one God. And then people would believe in that God to give them victory over their enemies and to conquer and to do whatever. So it was basically not any different from any other religion in the area, except for the fact that it was a religion that was a monotheistic religion, meaning they had only one God. And they used that religion as a glue to keep their society cohesive and also to conquer lands in what is today Palestine and to create a proto-state that later on became one of the many Syrian princedoms that existed in that area. Look, it was in some occasions it was stronger, in other occasions it was weaker. It was conquered by the Egyptians. It was conquered by the Babylonians. Then it was conquered by the Persians. Then it was conquered by the Greeks, and then it was conquered by the Romans, and finally it became just another province in the Roman Empire, where the majority of the people that lived there, of course, professed their religion. After that, they spread across the Roman Empire. According to some scholars that I heard, around almost 10% of the population of the Roman Empire was of the Jewish faith because people converted. A lot of people, especially I think in Greece, also in Italy, also in the Mediterranean area of the Iberian Peninsula. So this means these people, they were not Semites, so to speak. They were not Semitic. They were not of that region, and they converted to that religion. Look, just like a lot of people converted to different religious ideas in the Roman Empire, because it was a common space where people could travel. I mean, you could be, for example, one day you could be working in the Iberian Peninsula, the next one you were in a ship or in a road using the excellent Roman road system, and you could be in Italy working. For example, one of your uncles was perhaps in Greece or something like that, then you would sail to Greece to live there, and you would marry a Greek woman, or you would marry another foreigner that lives there. This was the reality of the Roman Empire. And this was something that was forgotten during the medieval period, but the Roman Empire was not a single unity of Romans with nice hairdos and great white and pale statues of marble and all of that. No, in fact, they even painted the bloody statues. They were joyous people. They were people that recognized when someone was good enough for the job. They took advantage of anything that could give them a profit or make their lives better. They took ideas from everyone, from the Greeks, from the Celts, from the people of the Middle East, whatever. Okay, and in that time, Palestine was just that. Okay, just another state. Then, over the years, people say, well, then they destroyed the Temple of Solomon and this did this and did that. The Temple of Solomon was destroyed for historical reasons. Okay, it was another episode like any others. Okay, the Hagia Sophia in Istanbul, that was Constantinople, was also converted into a mosque when it had been a church. Okay, and you come here to Portugal and in Spain, and you will find mosques that were converted into churches. Okay, this is all relative. This happened to everyone. This happened to every religion. This happened to every people. Okay, you go, for example, around here also, and you will find ancient ancient Celtic or pre-Celtic places, sacred places that were converted into Christian and then Catholic churches. Okay, so this is something that is very normal, and it's not some kind of an event. It's an important event to the people that profess this religion, that considered those sites sacred. Okay, it's important for them. I'm not, I don't know, how can you say this? I am not saying that you are not right in feeling bad for what happened to the sacred places. What I am saying is that you have to put it all into perspective and to say, well, for example, we have this holiday or this celebration because of this. And this was an event that happened. It's an important event for us, but it was just another event in the greater scheme of things. Okay, this is the first the destruction of the temple was because the Greeks were trying to impose, the Greek rulers or the heirs of Alexander, they were trying to impose their own way of seeing the world. Okay, and what they did in the area which is today Palestine, that for them was all the province of Syria. They did it elsewhere. Okay, they did it to other people in the region. They did it to the what was left of the Phoenician. They did it to all cultures. Okay, this was something that was very normal. Because religion was and still is, as we can see right now, it was a form of power, of controlling. And this minority they refused. And the people that were across the Roman Empire, or then later on, across the Roman Empire, they continued to do the same type of religion rites, and believing in the same things, and having their books, their sacred books, their Torah, and having all of that. A lot of them went to East Europe, and the process continued. Okay, they came here to Portugal and to what is today Spain, and the process continued. Some of them remained in the community. Others converted to Christianity, first with Islam and Christianity, then just Christianity. Okay, and back home, so to speak, people continue to live there. Okay, there was not this magic event in which all the Jews were expelled. No, this was something that was progressive when the people that were there, that had been Jewish, and with other people that also came in, because it was an area of continuous transition of different people. The people that were there, the ancestors of the Judea of the Palestinians, those people, most of them converted to Christianity. And later on, more than half of them converted to Judaism. Sorry, to Judaism. My God, sorry, to Islam. But the people, they were the same. They just changed their religion. They just changed their culture. What I'm trying to tell you is this: Israel is an ethno state that has no basis for existence, except, except with the fact that it was a solution for what happened after World War II. Okay? And by saying this, this is very important, and I want you to listen to me carefully. By saying this, I'm not saying that Israel should not exist. That is not up for me to decide. But I do question the way it is existing. Because it's existing in a way that they are continuously occupying the lands of their neighbors. They are continuously ostracizing the people that live there. Israel just did this with their new laws that will allow them to summarily hang any Palestinian that is against the state of Israel. And this also creates all of the tensions that we've been feeling since 1946 with the dislocated populations in Palestine being forced into camps, being forced into a form of genocide, which is what we are talking about. And that is not right. And in the late 80s, okay, and 90s, when the two-state solution uh, system was created, so to speak, it was an actual solution for a problem. But it did not solve everything, because you still had terrorist groups in Palestinian states, and you still had the zealots in Israel. It never stopped. If given what we have been seeing right now, Israel became more and more zealot about it. Okay, and then you had the event where they kidnapped people in Israel when the Hamas apparently. I'm saying apparently because I honestly don't know what terrorist group did it. I'm going to be honest with you. They claimed it, but I'm being absolutely honest with you. What I do know is that people were killed and kidnapped. I'm not questioning that. Okay, I don't think people, even a state that is not very democratic like Israel, I don't think people were lying. I never questioned that. Okay, I'm always on the side of the victims because I don't do victim blame. And then you have this response of Israel. There was no negotiations, okay? Because how can you have negotiations if you are so called doing negotiations and you are still attacking people? And we know now for a fact, I don't know if people know this in the United States and Israel, we do know now that some of the hostages were they died because of the consequences of the Israeli bombings and attacks. Because that we don't negotiate with terrorists. No, you have to negotiate with terrorists. You have to negotiate with everyone. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it's what you have to do because you have to consider everything that's been happening since 1946. You have to take all of that into account. And what they are doing now in Lebanon will only cause more problems. You are just dislocating more people. And whatever the solution it is, even if Israel gets the slice of land that they can control, okay, so because that way they will feel protected or whatever the fuck they want to say. Sorry, I promise I wouldn't swear. It won't solve the key issue because in 2 generations' time, I don't know who will support Israel. I don't know to what degree they will be able to protect themselves. And I'm seeing all the customary allies of Israel leaving that shit because you cannot support this. You know, how can I how can I vote for someone that tells me they are going to support Israel when I see them assassinating civilians? And look, I don't care if they are Muslims, if they have a different shade of melanin than me. I don't care anything about it. I care these are people. Because, yes, I have a Christian morality in that sense. Okay? Me and most of people in Europe. It's a part of our culture also. And and now we have an ethno state that is ruling through state terrorism. And you call this out, and people claim that you are an anti Semite. And that absolutely baffles me. I'm not, look, I'm not preaching for the local synagogue in my area. We don't have it, but we have it in my country. To go there and kill people because they're Jewish. No, I'm not claiming that at all. I'm not even claiming for people in Israel, even if they are settlers that have been taking advantage of this to get themselves some free real estate. I'm not claiming those people should be attacked, should be murdered, or whatever. Not by a long shot. Because there are people too, even if detestable, with their ideas and their beliefs that for me are profoundly racist. I'm not defending that. What I am defending this is this. Number one, completely stop any at all hostility. This is the first thing you have to do. Completely stop it. And then sit down at the table and negotiate. Return the lands that you stole. re-establish the two-state solution. And don't come telling me it didn't work in the past, it could not work. It didn't work in the past because Israel simply started to mine the entire issue, and then the response of the other side was terrorism, because it's the only way the people in the other side know how to solve these things. And then you go after Iran, that is supporting these people. And they are not just supporting these people because they like them so much. They are supporting these people because they are also in an existential crisis to support their system too. And if you end this, the truth, the most ironic thing about this is this. If Israel was serious about ending this war, they could end it tomorrow. And they would disarm the power that other actors that want to that want a state of, because it's not just Israel that likes this state of continuous war for them to conquer land. Okay, other states also like this because keeping people at war and blind to what is happening around them, it's a very convenient way to make a profit. Just look at what the United States is doing right now. Who is getting money out of this? The people that are financing the actions of the president. I'm not that naive to not think this is the way, but what I'm trying to tell you, and this is why I decided to make this video, is for you to put my opinions on the subject to be crystal clear. Crystal clear. I am not a bloody anti-Semite. I'm an anti whatever this shit is. Some people call it Zionism, other people call it this, call it that. To me, it's racism and authoritarian regimes. Simple as that. Okay. Stalin was no more of a bastard than Hitler was. Okay, they were the same. One had a swastika, the other had a sickle and a hammer. Okay, but they were the same. Just like Putin is the same as Trump. They are shades of the same piece of shit. And I want you to have this really cleared because I've been getting some odd comments in my comment section. So I wanted this to be absolutely crystal clear. Don't call me an anti-Semite because I have nothing against the Jewish faith. You want to pray in whatever way you want, you don't want to eat pork, my friend, it's up to you. It's not a reason for us to sit in the cafe and have a nice espresso and maybe have a beer or something like that. If you were my friend and you were a Jewish person, that would not bother me. But to have these ideas of you are resettled for whatever reasons, and this is why I think we have to stop this here, because if we start digging up behind, we will come to the genesis of the Israeli state itself, and that is not good for anyone. Because to me, from the day they were resettled there, you need to deal with the situation, everyone. But if we already have a solution that is drawn out, that is peaceful, that allows peace to exist, and don't come and tell me, oh, but it didn't work, oh, and they did this, and the terrorists came and they did that to the music festival, and they kidnapped people. Of course, I'm not saying that is right, and here is where your reasoning falls. But is that reasoning enough to level Gaza, kill thousands of people, because this is what we are talking about, children, women, that had nothing to do with this, and you will say, oh, they were supporting the terrorists. Okay, a father that is a terrorist is holding his baby like this. If you tell me you would shoot the baby to get the father, what are you? What are you? Because this is what we have to think about. This is the essential point in which we have to decide when are you an animal and when are you a person. And I'm tired of hearing it. You want to know, this reminds me of people saying, I was only following orders. I was only following orders. Is this what your religion tells you? Because I know how you can read the Torah, just like you can read the Bible, and take out excuses to justify your own wickedness. But like the Pope said, oh yes, God does not listen to those with their heads filled with blood. Stop using religion to justify what Israel is doing. I don't care if you're Christian, I don't care if you're Muslim, I don't care if you're Jewish. When you justify evil with religion, you are betraying the objectives of religion itself. And like I told you before, I studied Judaism. I researched it. I understood it. And not just now. Look at me, I have a white beard, my friends. I have been here around for a long time. And religion was one of the things that I studied because I liked it. Because I like to understand why some people, first it was as a kid, to understand why some people wore their clothes in a different way, or why they had some habits of not eating this food or that food. And then it progressed to all of this. This is why when I sometimes tell you that the habit of covering women comes from the Assyrian period, it's because I study it. Because it became a cultural habit in that region that later on was adapted by Islam. Just like women covered their hair when they were in the church here in Portugal, for example. Up until very recently, maybe the 1950s or the 1940s, women still had to cover their heads when they entered in the church. Okay, so this is nothing new. This is nothing recent. These are cultural habits that evolve a long time. This is why, for example, some more Orthodox Jewish people use that funny hair and whatever because it's a cultural habit. It was a way of Jewish people to recognize themselves in the street. So they could talk with that person that was of the same culture as you are, because they were integrated in groups of people that were very different from them. But this does not mean Judaism is not a religion. It's a religion. Tomorrow, if you want, you can convert yourselves to Judaism. Just like you can convert yourself to Christianity. Me, personally, I really don't do organized religion because I think it's very limited. It limits your perspective and the way that you should act. But again, in this video, I have said what I wanted to say. I am not an anti-Semite, and stop talking about it. And when you have any doubts about it, come back and listen to this video. And you that are listening to me, if you don't support what Israel is doing right now in Palestine and in Lebanon, my friends, you are not an anti-Semite. You are a decent person. Because any decent person, even those that live in Israel, and that I know a lot of them are speaking out against it, they should speak louder. Okay? They should speak louder because it's their duty to protect the future of themselves and of their children. Because if even they are doing it, then so should you. And you should not listen to each and if you listen to a little voice saying, you're criticizing Israel, you're an anti-Semite, those people are not worth your time. and don't believe a single word that they say. Because if they lie about one little thing, they will lie about another one. Liars can never be trusted. Never. This is why when in another video people were talking about the United States and their relationship with Europe and this and that, I said this little sentence. You can never trust the United States again. You can have a normal relation, but you can never trust them again. And I stand by my words. You cannot trust them again. I don't care if tomorrow Trump is removed from office from whatever reasons, and you elect a Democrat president, and he comes around and he tries to normalize things and this and that. I will never trust them in them again. They lied once; they can lie again. When an actor or a person, an actor in the greatest sense of things, or when someone lies, you can never trust in them again. Because anyone that lied once, they will lie again. Okay, truth and honesty is very important to me. This is why when I read some comments, and I know that people are trying to rally some kind of emotion about me, because when you see when I'm talking, I'm sometimes very emotional, and I'm very how can I say this, adamant in defending my positions, because they think I'm some kind of loudmouth emotional person, and I'm really not. When I sit here and tell you about whatever subject we are talking about, when I sit here and I talk with you, behind this, it's an entire process of logic and of fact checking if needed, and all of that. I don't use guidelines unless I'm speaking about very specific numbers. I don't use guidelines. I don't use scripts. I don't use anything about that. Okay, I read a subject that I want to talk with you folks right here in my videos. And remember, this is not being monetized. Always remember this, because it's very important. I just research, I read, I inform myself, I make sure that I understand what the hell I'm talking about, and then I talk with you. I explain to you from my perspective what is happening, what is it that I want to talk about. Like, for example, explaining to you that I understood what Judaism was first, and I had done it before, but before I came here and talked with you. And you sometimes will see these pauses because I am thinking about what is here in my hard drive that I have already memorized. Okay, I do this. I have always been able to do this. Okay, I have always been, and I'm not gloating. Okay, I'm not gloating. I'm just explaining this to you. In school, when I had to go to an exam or whatever, during the year, I would listen to what the teacher was explaining and all of that. 2 or 3 days before of the exam, I would sit down. I would grab my books, my my notebooks, all of that, and I would just read, and I would memorize things. I would memorize concepts, and I would memorize dates because you always need that. And then I would understand what I would be talking about, commas, writing, of course, in the test. Okay, and this is exactly what I do here. Okay, I analyze the subject, I take in the information, I reason about the information, and then I talk about it. Simple as that. So today, before I made this video, okay, I had no need of of sitting down and understanding this and that, because when I planned to do this video, I planned to did it. Sorry, I planned to do it around 2 or 3 days. I just went back to my memory bank, so to speak, and fact check one or two things that I needed relearn, so to speak, and then I'm here talking with you. This is how I function. I don't function with guidelines and with scripts and with biased opinions. No, what you see here is what you get. And as for the emotions, like I was saying, just don't try it. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time because if someone says something that they are trying to rally an emotion from me, I will just answer in a very logic way, in a very cold way, because this is how I am. If you say, for example, I'm going to make a little video about those comments, by the way. If you say something like the EU is doing this and doing that, I will counter with logic because facts don't lie. The truth in this little world, my friends, is this: actions equal reactions. Everything that happens in this world has a reason for happening. And I'm not talking about some kind of moral or godlike godlike law. No, I'm speaking about logic. If you put water in a low temperature, low enough beneath freezing point, then that water will freeze. If you increase the heat, then that water will defrost. If you really increase the heat, that water will turn into vapor. Okay? It's simple. Life is more complicated than we make it. The issue here is that we don't have the capability of watching all the actions or events or whatever that are behind what we are seeing before us right now. And with all of this Israel situation, what I'm feeling is that people are not looking at the bigger picture. And they should. And the people that are perpetrating these actions, they know the bigger picture. But they also know that you will not look at it. You will see, oh, they were attacked. Oh, they won't give back the hostages. Oh, yes, this is, yes, they need to defend themselves. You don't see everything that was behind it. Why did this happen? And when you are trying to support the Palestinians, also, a lot of you also don't see what is behind it. And this is what you need to do. Use your little noggin. Because every human being in this planet has the capability of understanding simple truths. And whenever you look, like my father always told me, and I keep repeating myself, sorry, see who benefits. When something happens, see who benefits of it. Who is benefiting of this entire confusion? Who is earning money? Who is disrupting alliances? And don't let yourself stay in the the so-called the conspiracy theories and all of that. Okay, don't let yourself stay in that level. Go further. Go see how much Mr. Trump has been earning in money ever since all of this happened. Oh, he's not even receiving a salary. Okay, go and see how much he is earning. Go and see how much him and his family are earning. Go and see who has been able to continue a war in Lebanon. Go and see all of that. And then come talk with me. Go and see who is benefiting from all of this. Go and see why is Europe that stopped buying the Russian shit, because the Russians are cold-blooded killers that are assassinating people in Ukraine. Is this clear enough? That is why we are stopping from buying their shit. Go and see. Europe is buying most of our oil to the United States. The United States are profiting off Europe, like they have been doing since World War II. And they are still doing it. Right now, we have already paid for the weapons that they were supposed to sell us to give to Ukraine, and those weapons are nowhere to be seen. Just like they did to the Swiss, that ordered those Patriot systems that never came. And the Americans wanted to put it as a credit. They are stealing from us. They are profiteering off of us. This is only benefiting the elites in the United States and in Israel. They are profiting big time. And they are also using it to cover up for their own crimes with the Epstein files and all of that crap. And you Americans, you keep still thinking that we are going to win bigly. Oh, yes, yes, yes. And everything will be the same. Meanwhile, they are turning you into a very quiet nation of slaves. Of bloody slaves. You claim to have independence and you are slaves. And then you look at us Europeans. You want to know something? I'm going to tell you this. Today is Friday and today I'm on strike. I'm fighting for my rights. I'm losing a payday. But I am here. I am not contributing to a system, and I am telling my government that you are not doing your job. Do it. This is how you fight, Americans. You don't fight on the weekends with frog masks and an entire party system. You fight by taking actions. You fight by taking responsibility and accountability on your actions. And this is all I have to say. This to say, I am not an anti-Semite. I am not anti-Jewish. Neither of those. And if you say that, you are a liar. As I said, I had promised to keep this one quick, but it's now 40 minutes of a video, and I think it's about time we end it, and I do something else with my day. Folks, I would like to thank you all for listening to me. If this offended anyone, well, I'm sorry, but I promised you I would always be honest. And here you go. Me being honest. Thank you very much. Have yourselves a great day. And wherever you are, if you are in Israel, if you are in Palestine, if you are in the United States, in Europe, whatever, I hope you are safe. And I hope that you and your family are also safe. Thank you very much for listening to me. Have a great day.